As some of you know, I have been pursuing my art career for the last 7 years or so. And throughout that period of time, I have tried launching several different artistic projects, none of which has ever resulted in an actual established business. This whole process has given me a lot of time to think about how selling my art feels like. And as of lately, I've come to realize that there's some artworks that are very well suited for retail, and some that, in my opinion, shouldn't even have a price tag attached to them. For example, the main project in which I'm working at the moment falls into this second category, I think, which is why it's not for sale. So in this video, I'll delve into what drove me to take the decision to remove it from the shop front and how I generally feel about selling my art. Enjoy! The first reason as to why I think I was unable to make this whole art business thing work for me is because I lacked a lot of patience and consistency throughout my journey, admittedly. And I'm not a terribly undisciplined person, mind you. More so, it was the fact that I tried launching many different projects, but I wasn't feeling at peace with the idea that I was going to have to stick to only one of them in the long term. I tried doing portrait commissions, D&D illustrations, I opened an Etsy store and sold prints and shirts over there. I tried selling woven blankets with my designs printed on them, and at least a handful of other things. I truly tried launching so many different projects, but I honestly failed at sticking to every single one of them. The funniest part? I don't even see that as a personal failure, forgive me for my arrogance. Because, you see, I'm a very eclectic artist, and what happens to me is that as soon as I'm done learning all that I have to learn from a specific project, I just let go of it. Some projects will last me years, others a couple of months only. But mainly what would end up happening is that I would stay very consistent with a project for 2 to 4 months, and after that I'd lose interest completely and become disengaged, causing me to produce artworks of much less quality that I wasn't really proud of. And that was very inconvenient, as you might imagine, because when you have a business, you want to be able to provide a consistent customer experience to your audience. That is, after all, why we become repeat customers of our favorite restaurants. We know that every time we come back, the food will be just as good as it was the last time. And in my experience, art businesses are no different from restaurants or any other business for that matter. Clients pay for adequate, consistent customer experiences, and I was really proving myself unable to deliver on my own promises. Secondly, I realized how hard it would be to actually end up building a decent living as a working artist. That is to say, mainly selling my artworks. This is something that is very cliché, but that is so true. Art is a tough way to make a living, simply because our products are not generally considered a basic need for most people, and therefore not something most people are in a hurry to purchase. Art is considered a costly good at best, and a luxury at its most expensive. And I know what you're gonna say. Things take time. No career is easy at the beginning. You should just persist. And to this I say, I appreciate the concern and I think there is some truth in it. However, I'm not willing to just wait for 5 more years until I maybe take off financially. Truth is, I already have bills to pay, and moreover, I think I value art too much to burden it with the pressure of becoming my primary source of income. At least for now, I feel like I'd rather just have another kind of job that pays my bills so I can take it easy in the studio. And listen, I know that some artists thrive on adrenaline, economic volatility, and unstable half-time jobs, but I'm just not one of those folks, okay? I cannot produce good art when I'm under too much pressure or can't afford to meet my basic needs. I am a Sun in Cancer, highly sensitive woman, and I know that in order to produce good art, I need to be well-rested, well-fed, and generally relaxed. That's just how things are for me. And so now that I don't owe anything to any particular group of clients, I've realized that I don't really have to stick to any particular art style or medium. I can change and evolve with the seasons. I can take different paths. I can play. I can experiment. I can mess up. And I can create the art that I feel like needs to be created because I am mostly free from the shackles of the art market. I am, of course, still subject to many inevitable constraints, mainly time scarcity because I still got a normal job to take care of. But at least when it comes to my artistic pursuits, I am truly able to do whatever I want. And so that flexibility has really allowed for art to flow freely through me, at least in the context of this particular project. Thirdly, and I think that this is something nobody likes to talk about, is that I didn't love the idea that as a professional artist, I was literally directly competing with other artists for money and resources. Like, let's say it as it is, okay? Because professional artists, just like any other business owner, have to grapple with their competitors both inside and outside of social media in order to build a successful business. And I just don't really vibe with that right now. Of course, I know that competition is inevitable in most aspects of life. For example, the fact that just by uploading this video, I am taking your attention away from other artists who maybe depend on YouTube to make a living doesn't escape me at all. But I guess that gatekeeping my art from the market temporarily is the way in which I, however symbolically, am trying to make a statement against this situation. Finally, the fourth and most important reason as to why I stopped selling my art is because I have this hunch in my heart that I carry every day, right? And it urges me to be raw and vulnerable and to bring forth my truth in every word that comes out of my mouth and in every piece of art I make. It begs me to attend to the art that needs making, not just to the art that sells well. At the risk of sounding abhorrently cheesy, I'll say it. It feels like a calling. I decided to keep this project of mine far away from the marketplace mainly because I believe that sharing it with people for free, instead of charging for it, is the particular way in which I want to attend that calling. Because in a world in which literally everything is commodified and sold, and by that I mean food, water, access to decent living spaces, leisure time, culture, and even politics, I feel like art has the potential to become that one thing that is so valuable as a representation of our zeitgeist that is simply not for sale. In our profit-driven times, I believe art needs to stand for itself, for beauty, for grief, for stories, for ideas, and for our shared humanity, not for the highest bidder. And there you go. That's literally my artist statement. So, at the moment, I'm studying branding and graphic design in order to build a second, maybe more profitable career for myself. I'm still not sure about what the heck I'm actually gonna do, but for now, I'm working as a freelancer and living below my means. And you know what? I've been doing fine. And honestly, even though I haven't earned a single cent from my art in this past few months, I am inundated with a sense of meaning and fulfillment that is hard to put into words. I am building this YouTube project. I am meeting new amazing artists every day, and I am learning so much from them. Now, I'm not saying I will never sell my work again. I'm definitely not against the possibility of doing so. It's just that I don't see that happening for this specific project that I've been working on at the moment. I'd also like to clarify that I am not at all against artists who do choose to sell their art. In the end, whether that's the right choice is subjective and really depends on one's particular situation, so I'm not the one to judge. In fact, just to wrap this video up, let me ask you, do you sell your art? Do you not? Why? And how does that make you feel? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye!